Hi, my name is Jim Bates. I've been at the Cathedral now for about 10 years, and I've been living in Dallas over 30 years. I grew up in Lubbock, Texas, and grew up in a Protestant home. I'm very thankful and very blessed to have had the Christian parents and caregivers that I did when I was a kid. I grew up in the Baptist church, and when I was 8 years old, I walked the aisle and became a Christian and was baptized, and spent the rest of my childhood in that church, in the Baptist church. When I became an adolescent, I became a little bit unhappy or dissatisfied with that environment. I think there just weren't enough teenagers. And so I began to participate in other churches, other Protestant denominations like evangelical, charismatic, Assemblies of God, Bible churches, and really never found the true answer to my desire for a deeper walk with God. As an adult, I had a son who's now an adult, and my son, during high school, attended a school here in Dallas that had a Catholic headmaster. And he would come home with all these stories of Catholicism and became very interested in Catholicism. And he and I began studying the early church fathers and finding out that the early church was really very similar to what the Catholic Church is today. As an evangelical Protestant, I had always been encouraged to carry out my faith with a view to how it was done in the early church. The idea was that the early church was right and then everything fell apart after the apostles died. At any rate, I found out that in the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th centuries, the early church fathers really maintained the faith of the apostles and the faith of Christ, and that the Eucharist was really an important part of the Mass at that time. I began to watch Catholic TV, EWTN, and I began to watch a show called The Journey Home and watched the Mass and became enamored with various Catholic personalities that wrote books and really became very interested in Catholicism. And after a lot of prayer and going through RCIA class, I decided to commit to the Catholic Church. So I converted from a lifelong Bible-believing evangelical Protestantism to Catholicism about 10 years ago. Now I participate in the cathedral in downtown Dallas, Cathedral Guadalupe, and I'm a lector and serve as an usher and as a Eucharistic minister of Holy Communion. I'm very honored and humbled to be able to serve in these capacities. I really enjoy the cathedral. I've been in the choir. I've made a lot of dear, close friends here with whom I share my faith, and I find that there are other Catholic converts here from Protestantism that I have a lot in common with. I will say that it's really a remarkable treasure to have the sacrament of reconciliation available that I never had before, and I find that despite my trepidation, I'm able to go before the priest and confess sins and receive absolution and do penance, and that brings an enormous sense of gratitude and fulfillment and peace. I really appreciate our priest, Father Beerschenk, and our deacons, Charlie and Chris, and everyone here at the cathedral has been very welcoming to me. And I would encourage you to look us up. Check us out on the internet. Come visit us at Mass. Share communion and the Eucharist with us.